Ladies and gentlemen, and everything as well. All of our non-binary pals out there as well. Welcome back to what is coming to the wonderful combination of such an incredible season of console Rainbow Six Siege and the highest quality we've seen so far. I'm McCready. Joining me today is Lanex, and today we have the lower bracket grand final of our season, and that means that only two teams are going to come in today, but only one is going to leave, and that one team has got such a mountain to climb today, don't they?
Yes, Pretty, it's awesome to be with you here today. Hey, folks, Rainbow Six lovers, let's see what is going to happen. As you said, we're going to move from 3 teams to the finalists. And as we know, it's going to be a very good game today to see what is going to happen between Ghost Army and Frequency, who have, have been going in such a nice track and path so far. But Ghost Army are going to be the one to have to reverse the situation they had on their last upper bracket game created. So yeah, it's gonna be a nice narrative to do.
Yeah, definitely. Either way this could go is just a really beautiful story to follow. So if we take a look very quickly at the bracket and how that story's been, we'll notice very much a trend. So you see Ghost Army at the top, you can see that they have currently gone through that first round of the upper bracket beautifully. They got that second round. They knocked out Envision in such a strong showing. But then when they went to go fight Entropy, they had to forfeit because the schedules didn't really work, which is where they've now found themselves in that lower bracket final, fighting for that chance to get them into the grand final for that final stage. Whereas Frequency, they've had a really, really good run. You really have to hand it to them. All the way through that lower bracket stage, they got knocked out at the very start of that upper bracket. They got knocked down, and they have absolutely stayed there. They are like a stain on the wall you cannot get rid of. They will not leave, and they are only wanting to go up. They played so well to stay in this position. Now this is time to find out whether it's actually going to be worth it.
Yes. First of all, when we talk about Entropy Gaming, right, Great, it's interesting to say that definitely that was not the way that they expected to move to the grand finals, just winning through a forfeit. Surely that was not what they expected in prep for. But yes, as opposed to Frequency Gaming, we have seen them struggle and striving a lot, having a lot of work to really get so far in the competition in this season 8. So yeah, facing risks, but also learning a lot. And I'm very eager to see how they're going to adjust against Ghost Army, who, as you said, like were playing pretty well so far to this point, and are also going to have to show a solid gameplay to, expect to face eventually Entropy in the finals.
Yeah, exactly. Both these teams played very well. In fact, Ghost Army, aside from the map that they just had to forfeit to go down to the lower bracket, they haven't actually lost a single game so far. In fact, I don't think they've even gone to overtime at this point. So it's going to be a very, very exciting game. And Frequency, if they want to go face Entropy, they're going to have to earn it. It's a little bit of a boss before that final boss. But where is this fight going to happen? This is going to happen on a couple of maps, and let's find out which ones those are, shall we?
Oh yeah, let's see. The first map being Clubhouse, as we already have the cinematics beautifully played by our production team, and we're gonna be able to also see the bans in a bit shortly. There we have already the operators coming out of the list, Greedy. But Clubhouse, as we know, one of the most picked maps in the competition, inside of the top 3 picked maps. In the most balanced map, I would say, among these 3 maps between the offensive and the defensive sides.
Yeah, so I know that you're still kind of coming into that Rainbow Six Siege scene, and Clubhouse is probably a map that you have seen quite a bit, and there's a very good reason for that. It's a very comfortable map for a lot of teams. It's very much the bog standard Rainbow Six Siege. If you cannot play this map as a team, you shouldn't really be looking to do anything else. You should be back at the basics. So I'll see Frequency picking this map doesn't surprise me, because they're saying, right, we need to get down to these basics. We can't really afford to go out on a risk. Whereas Ghost Army, they're feeling a bit more confident. They're going to take us over towards Kaf Dostoevsky, another pretty standard map, but one that very much favors their aggressive playstyle. Going on to the final map, looking at that Oregon, the same kind of thing as Clubhouse. It's what you know, it's what you should be able to do, and going into it, it's both teams should be feeling comfortable. Like you say, though, we are going to get these operator bans on the board, and nothing really standing out for me here. It's pretty standard. We're seeing a Monty, Ying, and a Zami, and the last operator that we're going to see, we'll find out in a second. But these operators, they don't surprise me. The Monty ban, I think of that Rafters push. I think of that dirt or blue on that bottom floor. That's where that Monty's shut down. He's a drone with all that free information. They take it away. You have to take the gunfight. The Ying, the aggression, same with the Azami, they are very aggressive operators, so they're taken off the board. And the Valkyrie to round things out, Lanix will just get that information taken away, won't it?
Yes, as you said, important ban so far on the case of Azemi. Very nice level of inner protection that she's usually able to provide into the bomb side areas, along with Mira, for example. But then she's not going to be able to play, of course, this map over here. And we also saw Valkyrie out of the choices list as we move into the prep phase. So not a lot of information when it comes to thinking about the whole floors and all. But again, nice choices on both sides, looking at the picks too, with a lot of breaching power on the hands. On the hands of the attacking side, as you're gonna see, like Buck and also Ash and the usual combos of them. Also information from IQ. So a lot to happen here, Pretty, and I'm eager to see how the defensive team is gonna play as well.
Yeah, so the aggressive team, their main goal is this kitchen side. They need to get over there. They need to get the control of the verticality. If they do so, you can see this whole B section. They can rip that open and they can control it entirely. They can have verticality over towards this wall, towards the right of the staircase. And in doing so, they can shut down anyone coming from the moto side to try and rotate. They can shut down anybody trying to rotate over towards that side of the main hallway. In doing so, by getting the Ram, getting that Buck, and like you say, the Ash as well, it just speeds up so much of this. It's very, very verticality focused, which is why the defense, I feel like a little bit of roaming might go quite well on this one, because it would slow them down from getting to that stage, and it would force them to go above it and waste that time. Doesn't seem like that's going to be the case, though. The defenders are looking to just dig in just that little bit more and just be that a little bit more safe, isn't that right?
Yeah, I would say that Ram's gonna be quite an asset if you have a plan, if you have a distraction plan. Usually, combining this operator with other ones to try to lure your opponent to other areas. Yeah, it's gonna be quite a noisy attack plan eventually, as we already see the Ram in action. That may be a distracting point for Ghosty Army, and Ghost Army are gonna have to also play in a way that they keep their positions, because from what we have seen, Frequency loves to make their opponents waste time.
Yeah, exactly. And that is what this verticality is all for. I mean, right now, we're not really seeing much pressure coming out from Frequency. They are wanting to force these attackers to come towards them. However, Klein, as you can see, is moving up those blue stairs. The camera is giving the information. Klein doesn't even know, which is why Hassie going over for the gunfight, looks to the kill, but can't land it. Tries to go through.
Yeah, nice trade, 4v4 yet. It's just slow start on both sides, and we're gonna be seeing the action taking place, as you said. Verticality, of course, playing its role already in this round number one, as we see now some play, collective play being designed and shaped on the side of Frequency. We have the image now of Shinji hoping to find someone off guard and eventually make a first pick for him from now on. We already have also just working on these breachings and, of course, trying to get closer to the positions of Ghost Army.
Yeah, right now, Ghost Army, they're digging in. They've lost that player at the very start, though, which is a big thing. Frequency now have an opportunity to start pushing forward, start putting that pressure, and they're going to start with this blue side. The defenders are going to be watching and waiting, and with 30 seconds ticking down on the clock, lanes, they start opening it as well. That second angle of attack is there, and the push is going to have to come through with this first pick over towards that Moto Hatch.
Yes, we see now Shinji again. Also, good work by Bonks, of course, with the Ash, able to cause some damage from a distance, so it's a safer kind of damage as he looks from the upper point, trying to find someone else. Double kill coming on the hands of Senzo, and there it is, just like that, defensive side, dominating Ghost Army, managing to go for 1-0 here in these last seconds. Again, the clips, the damage, the tradings, they were decisive in this first round, Pretty.
Yeah, I mean, being able to find that first pick was huge from the side of Frequency. They won out a gunfight due to that utility being used. And at that point, you expect them to start winning. I mean, I expect them to take control of that blue from dirt and from dirt, hatch, and blue stairs. And if they're able to, oil, sorry, if they're able to do that, then they have a huge amount of presence over towards the hallway, over towards the rest of the site, and they can really cut off any rotations. That's not what happened, though. What we saw was Very, very confident players from the side of Ghost Army taking gunfights towards those hatches, forcing Frequency to try and make the refrags. And as soon as that happens, Ghost Army just playing so well off each other, able to kind of collapse and make sure that if a player went down, like you said, trades were constantly coming through. Very, very well played from the defense, but the attackers did well as well. I mean, I'm quite happy with all I saw so far. I feel like when it came down to just having enough time on the board at the end of that round. So you kind of went in, not everything was drawn properly, and probably the pressure on the side of Frequency was there. They were feeling uncomfortable. They realized they had to get a move on, and they knew that Ghost Army isn't a team to be trifled with.
You're right. And we have to remember that from Frequency, they have played very well the defensive side lastly against Phoenix in this Season 8 of ESA Cup in Clubhouse. Now, the attacking side may be a challenge for them. As you said, finding the right pacing and timings to design the attacks and do what they need to do is going to be an additional challenge for them, as we see already some movements and trying to use the upper spots, but Kambunk stakes climb down. They're getting closer. It's going to be cool to see if Ghost Army are going to be able to repeat the success into holding positions and fighting together.
Yeah. Oh, a beautiful bit of roam clearance. Hassy's able to find Kinsey, and in doing so takes down the Warden, and the C4 off the board, giving another player advantage. So now the verticality will go both ways, Lane. So that Ash is going to look upstairs, can use that Ash breaching charge to open the floor, and doing so gets the mirror window. That Jacuzzi side has just opened up. Now aggressive players to come out from Yasuki, and the Flores drone will follow to force them out of position. The attackers want to get aggressive, but the defense is aware. Ghost Army know that they're going to look towards this main stairs.
Collective way of playing by Frequency, as we see now Hassy finally taking the kills out of his pocket as he likes to do. I was going to point out about him and Shinji, fantastic players when it comes to going to a close contact. They have already displayed this in this competition lastly. Yeah. This is going to be a very daunting and complicated ending of a round for her. As you see, taken down by Bucks, who's already dominating the damage side of things for Frequency so far. Nice work by him. And we see now Frequency bringing this equalizer, pretty such a hot beginning of a game. Long round so far, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I mean, I look at that round and I think that was just well played on the side of Frequency. They were confident, they were strong. They got those early picks. I mean, I kind of blink and you miss it. They had those 2 kills on the board, and in doing so, that meant they just had so much more freedom. They were able to look over towards that main stairs. Like I said, that mirror window got pushed out of position, so that mirror had to get a lot more aggressive, and as a result was getting picked off. As soon as that happens, a lot of Ghost Army, they're focusing on these positions where they're taking gunfights. That's when, with the player advantage, really comes into play here, because that's when Frequency were pushing players up main stairs. We're getting players ready to push maybe towards that lodge or that gym window area. And by that point, you're just splitting, you're making somebody, you have to look at 2 areas at once, and it just doesn't work. Going back to this top floor site, I do want to see maybe a little bit of more awareness of these roamers down below, if they're even going to be there. I'd probably say maybe have a look at just bunkering down a little bit more. The verticality on the lineup of Frequency is only really there for the Ash in this respect. So it might be worth spotting these players and just coming back to site and saying we'll have to take these one-on-one gunfights and ideally make them as beneficial for ourselves as possible. Again, Frequency will look for a little bit of roam clear. They'll look to try and get the jacuzzi wall open, because that is realistically the opening point into the whole site. They get that wall open, they get control of that main corridor, they get that, and suddenly the rotations really cut down. That's when they start to apply the pressure from the gym window or from construction side or even logic.
Yes, some roaming, as you said, playing a decisive role as well. Maybe it's going to be also a slower kind of round to study the opponents, because both sides, there's a feeling that they have already showed a little bit of whatever they can bring to the table with some roaming movements and also some nice tradings so far. So it has been quite a versatile and interesting beginning for both sides. Nothing is decided, quite the opposite, quite far from that, as we see already some information rolling on the side of Frequency, trying to get the positioning for the bomb. We have also a lot of drones rolling out. Nice pre-droning work by them. And Hassy has the information. Look at that. He was just in the corner.
Again, Hassy almost in this perfect situation again. Aware of this mirror window up above, has the verticality needed, but that drone, like you said, perfect place, perfect time. and the hard supports of Frequency doing the perfect job to keep an eye on it and make sure that that player gets taken down. That's what happens. Again, the Jacuzzi wall is opened up. The players are forced back. Now you can start to apply pressure from some other positions. You see, this is what I mean. Cisno stuck over towards that Logi side. Has to watch the hatch, but also has to watch the door and the stairs as well. Such a very difficult position to be forced out of. And suddenly, as they get back into that main master bedroom, they're going to lose control of the main stairs. The attackers are going to be able to push up. And if there's control on the gym or that master bedroom window, that's going to make it even more difficult. And a couple of shots will get traded over towards Logi, so we might see Frequency head over there. But for the time being, time is certainly in their favor. Bunkers will get taken down, though.
Yeah, we see now the green is down, as Wamai was already down the side of Ghost Army, so both sides operating with less men and also Frequency losing. Yeah. It's gonna be complicated. Hassi jumping on Sanzo, finally hopping to the bomb area. We have now a 2v3, and it's gonna be the end for them because just Yasuki, the last man alive, not possible for him. Just was right there. It was, you know, spot on the positioning and bringing this one to their side. So Frequency changing the pace, changing the flows here. The breeze of the game is certainly slowly going to their side. It's Squiddy.
Yeah, definitely showing here that they do want to win. They do not want to get knocked down and receive that 250 euros third place prize because, yeah, 250 euros is nice, but that's not what you're here for. You're here to win. You want that grand prize, and you've got to beat this team to get it. But like you say, it's just the way that Frequency have shifted that up. That's what I want to see. That was so well played of them. Like I said, we're forcing these defenders to have a look in two directions at one point. And when we see Bunkers, I believe it's how the name is pronounced, I'm not actually too sure. When we see that player putting all the pressure all over towards that construction side, the player in Logi is threatened. The player over by construction is threatened as well. Yes, you lose the IQ, but in that split second, while that gunfight's taking place, while that IQ is being knocked off, the push onto site is going on. Like you say, the information's given. So then when you get to the end of that round, you're seeing these players sat in gym, looking at that construction area, knowing exactly where they need to shoot. Frequency, that coordination is exactly where it needs to be right now. Let's just see if they can do it on this bottom floor. Now, Ghost Army, they played it really well before. They wasted a lot of time. They played tight together, and they didn't overextend. Well, maybe with the exception of that Malusi. But the question is, are they going to have that same restraint this time? And is it really going to work for them?
Yeah, it's good to see the resistance level, also the side of Frequency, even with less men, but being, you know, patient and working the spots and the decisions to win and reverse the round. So lastly, on the last one, we just seen that even though they had less men, they were able to still, you know, win the gunfights and bring the points to their side. And now we see a lot of, again, those aggressive kind of operators that I love so much. So Ram, we have Buck, we have Ash, we have Green, we have Thatcher, we have everything on their side to go for a potential third round. And this is the moment really where we have to ask our chat to also bring their expectations. Who, guys, do you think is gonna win? Who's gonna be the, you know, winner on map 1? Who's gonna push this game onwards? We're expecting to see 3 maps at least. That's what we would love to see, right? Great.
Well, yeah, it depends on this round for me, really. We see the opening pick in favor this time of that Malusi able to get that gunfight and just playing a little bit more safe. But if we see Frequency start to take this, I might have to back them because they played so well. Utility going through, a Thatcher EMP will get rid of anything on that triple wall, followed by the Ash Barricade will shut down that information. Suddenly you hear the pop of that mirror window. They need to pop it, which means they need to take the gunfight. Something Frequency are very, very happy to do, and happy to force Ghost Army to do because they'll play a lot more passively, a lot more carefully. Right now, the Malusi Banshee taken away as well with the Gun 6. Maybe he could have been using that shield for hallway, maybe for that later round when the defenders are looking there, but don't worry, that's why you've got an Ash. C4 will go out, will not find any mark, and as we do see Bunkers pushing down to that triple hallway, they will have to take the wrath of not 1 but 2 defenders, and maybe even a third. 45 seconds ticking down, control of that main hallway lane X. It's going to be a bloodbath. Why? Because there's still 9 players left on the board.
Yeah, and the amount of information that Frequency has had is fantastic on this round because, of course, Ram provided that to the team. Now they are on the right floor, as we have already. Sanzo taking Shinji down. Tom takes Hansi. We're gonna go for our next one. Yasuki takes Yuki down. And just like that, Ghost Army playing the patience level here that allowed them to equalize this one pretty. Nice efforts, and especially nice spots to hold on to and like wait for the opponent. And they totally bet on the tradings here and worked out for them.
Yeah, I mean, this time we saw Clayton able to get that opening pick, and it actually worked out in their favor this time. So realistically, looking towards that round, like I don't know, I really like what Frequency had again. I can't really compliment them enough. This is the first time I'm actually watching them, I think. And they're really impressing me with what I've seen. There's no wonder they've stayed alive so long in this lower bracket. But in that round, it comes down to that coordination. It was seeing Ghost Army able to win those gunfights like we know they can. Going for those refrags and the coordinate, which they realize time's ticking down. We know that these players are going to be pushing. We know roughly where they are. They've spent a little bit too much time sat there just holding angles. So then Ghost Army just play passive, let them walk towards yourself, and that's where Ginzy with the shotgun is just so beautiful. Going back to this top floor lane X doesn't really inspire me with confidence. We've seen Frequency being able to dispatch this site pretty confidently both times. They've dealt with the roamers very well. And again, we're seeing players maybe starting to go down onto that roam again. I maybe would like to see CCTV Jim on this one, purely because I'm a firm believer in if it doesn't win twice, don't bother a third time. It's 2-2 at the moment. If they lose this round, that's 3 rounds in favor of the attackers. And realistically, on Clubhouse, you want to get, say, a 4-2 split as a defender. Right now, though, the Ram going in will do some damage, force it to the verticality. But the C4 will get wasted at least. So, not worthless trade, but definitely not what they were expecting to get out of that.
Yeah, and again, Shinji with the Ram being right at the spot, putting his charge, his gadget at the, let's say, wrong spot, but maybe not so. Again, he was attacked, but he was able to move back to the defensive spots and find himself in the cover. I'm yet to see what Brava is going to be able to offer to the team, trying to disable everything she finds on the way. So, yes, very interesting round here. And we see now the double kill in the hands of Hasi, proving again that he's a very talented player when it comes to finding the bullets and inflicting the damage. Yeah, when the major plan is not working, you want to have Hasi on your roster. We have now a 4v3, as also Yuki using the upper floors, trying to get this potential entry point. Yeah. It's going to be an interesting round to see how it's going to roll, Brady.
Yeah, so this is something that Frequency haven't had to deal with yet so far because they've focused on that Jacuzzi main stairs side. The CCTV construction kind of hold that we've seen so far coming out of Ghost Army is realistically what I call the wedding cake defense. Each layer is just another level that you've just got to wade through. You just have to deal with it as an attacking lineup. They've already dealt with step 1, that was Garage and Rafters and CCTV. Now they've dealt with cash, now they need to look towards construction. That's where the difficult bit comes through. This is the mirror with Logi going to have such a commanding impact in this one. C4 goes down below, the call comes out, the kill follows as Hasi gets taken down. They don't need a Valkyrie camera for that one because there's a player in Logi playing on that window. Now, the reason Mirror's still down below lane X is because of that verticality. Right now, you could see Bankers going into Kitchen, forcing the player out of Logi, and in doing so, opening up that construction side. But that's not going to happen. They know that player's there, but a player of Shinji and Jim is going to get a kill.
Yeah, a lot of trades here, and we are moving into the end of the round as finally Ghost Army finding a clutch. Nice situation to their side, and Sanzo took buckets down, and you were talking about going into this floor, so not successful for Frequency this time, as we had seen also the staircase kind of fight, a slow point of combat, but there it is, Ghost Army finding themselves 2 rounds to reverse whatever Frequency was showing us before. It's a very back and forth map so far this way, Creedy, and a very interesting one to see.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying watching it so far. Now we're going to see the side that we haven't seen at all at this point. Now that we've just seen that bottom floor get one, and then gym bedroom as well get one. Now, Ghost Army, they really don't want to go bar stop. I don't think I've ever met a competitive team that wants to. That isn't 100% confident they're going to win. And in the stage that Ghost Army are in at the moment, knocked down to that lower bracket, don't want to risk anything. they're going to come to this top floor site, and there's two key things in the top floor site. There's two key positions that you need to have control of as an attacking team. Starting off is that breach. You have to have control of that main breach, having it open and having at least one player at least just holding it or there or ready to pounce. And then as an attacking team, you focus towards garage or construction. Why? Well, if you just try and force in that breach, there's two angles the defenders are going to have so much control of that they can mess you up from. That's literally the right and the left. You walk into a sandwich, that just ain't going to cut it. If you take control of that garage, you get the rafters, you can look all the way over towards the construction door, and in doing so, then that stops the rotation, that stops players from coming down, and you can also see red from the window. Rotating over towards construction, then it's a similar effect, but for the rafters side, you can get into cash, get behind the wall, and go for a plan. Right now, to get rid of the utility, the fuse is going to go through. This stops the bandit trick, so the impact EMP can get down and the breach goes out. Very good coordination of utility and very, very well executed. Player will be playing down below though, and the question is, will frequency clock that?
Yeah, such a nice build-up by them, as you have described it pretty well, like the patience game and waiting for the right moment to hop into the map. As we see now, already some bullets being delivered, and Bonks takes Sunzo. We see now Tom trying to dominate this lower part here, trying to find someone. Bonks very also very active. Always Bonks moving a lot and being a very, I would say, eager guy to get into the action. Bonks finds a double kill against Kanzi now. We have Yuki taking Tom 4v2, complicated drop of round 4. Ghost Arm into this point. As we see now, just protecting the stairs. We're going to see some additional bullets. And of course, great. Yasuki and Klein are going to have to play together, holding hands almost to protect the bomb. Finally, Klein is alone against 4 players. And I don't know if he's going to be able to find a lot here further, Grady.
Yeah, no C4 in pocket. Will have a ping and will look for the gunfire shot into CJ. But Klein's just not going to land the shots. And you've got to feel for the guy as they get taken down by the Ash. He was caught unawares. And a 3-3 split coming through on the side. I mean, we've said it's back and forth. There's equalizing just being tossed around left and right. This is what I don't think could sum it up even more. But on the side of frequency, you've got to look at this as a positive. A 3-3 on the attacking side is a good split. Going onto the defensive side, you know you're going to have control to that bottom floor. That ideally should be 1 round in the bag at least, and then you're able to take it from there. Defensive sides are typically what teams try and focus on. They try and have that control there. So honestly, you've got to look at it as a positive for the side of frequency. Ghost Army wanted to make sure they got lock in and don't drop the standard they've been showing. The big thing for me on this defensive side is if frequency are able to keep this communication and just this coordination on it. If they keep that going, I really expect them to see some really strong roams, some really strong defenses coming out of this. And you can see they've got 3 players up on that top floor. They might even be trying to do something reminiscent of, dare I say, the SSG strat. And that is something that we've not seen in a while. I expect to see Vigil and the Malusi working together quite a bit on this one and making sure that they're there for the refrags. We've seen defensive sites on this bottom floor where there hasn't really been much room in lane X. So it'll be interesting to see how they do things differently. It's something Ghost Army are going to have to deal with very, very quickly, isn't it?
Yes. And on the side of Ghost Army, the guys are kind of reproducing, repeating the choices that frequency themselves have brought before. As we see also Ram, we see also Brava and Ash. So those choices looking very standard from side to side. And now actions finally gonna take place as we see both sides already moving. We have a little bit of Yuki taking a little ahead. And the upper floor was, of course, opened so that Ghost Army had a lot of information to use from now on. Let's see how this is gonna...
Oh, no. They've read into it. They know the players on the roam, so they've just dropped the hatch. The plant's going down. And right now, you will see Yuki with that ghost, with that Vector icon, able to find not 1 kill as CJ and Shinji get another. But now the plant goes down. The retake has to take place. But what a beautiful read from Ghost Army as they find not 1 but 2 more kills. Against CJ will look to close things down at 2 versus 2.
Yeah, Justin Sanzo, what a final by them, and just he's the alive player to come and defuse it. So what a response also on the side of frequency. A lot of tradings in this very ending. You were talking about Vigil, there it is. Crazy to see how that was played out.
Oh my lord, I can't believe I saw that. That was such a beautiful read coming out from the attacking side. Ghost Army, 5 versus 5, a minute off the clock, and that plant is going down. Immediately they get on the site. They're trying to take control of these key positions, like you can see. But then that Goyo is a bit of a pain in the backside. At that point, though, you're seeing SMGs going up against rifles and shotguns and players that are desperately trying to get back onto that site, and they are good at what they do. Very good attempt from Ghost Army. Got to give them a lot of credit for what they did. They got that roaming. They got that roam cleared done. The information, the execute was there. It just didn't have that little bit at the end that they needed. Just had that little bit of an edge in favor of Frequency, who are going to be heading to what I think is Ghost Army's favorite secondary site. They go to that gym bedroom side. The question is, how are they going to do this differently next? I mean, are they going to play that downstairs? Are they going to focus towards construction? It looks like they might be playing that Logi a little bit passive, getting those frost mats down. Maybe have a player in there, but with those footholds, that really doesn't scream contesting that angle to me. Ghost Army, I want to see what they've got in the bag, because it's really exciting me for their attacking side.
Attackers are moving out to locate
Yeah, they just did in the last round that kind of a bright and flash and a blasty kind of entrance coming from the up spots down, and like not losing, of course, whatever came after that. Like the trades were leaning to your side, but then also Frequency on the hands of just finding the kills and finding the recovery power that they needed there. So fantastic job also by Frequency. And as I said, it's going to be cool to see now how the lower floor is going to be played out. We already have bots trying to rotate a lot. Information is going to flow. The game is totally unpredictable. That's the best of it, because Kenzie now takes Bunts down. And Bunts, as we have seen, has been one of the top players in the hands of Frequency so far. So the game is very, very going to a more of a equalizing spot. A drone again on there. And Frequency have one man down here, Quady, so it's going to be complicated for them.
Oh, Yuki takes down Claim, but right now Shinji has a C4, can get that over the wall in construction, but isn't going to. You're going to keep that in pocket and backed up. Now, that construction side's been opened up, but like we said, look towards Logi. There is so much, there's so much pressure just applied from those holes being in that wall that the attackers don't really want to pressure it. They're aware somebody could swing from Logi, and if they look towards Logi, someone could swing from construction. Very, very tense situation for the side of Ghost Army. They need that player on that main window to apply that pressure elsewhere. Suzunu is going to be able to do it, but the refrag from Shinji will follow as well. Yasuki gets one of their own, and it looks like the execute might be coming through for the side of Ghost Army.
Yeah, Shinji trying again. A very, very strong player when it comes to the 1v1s. Now him and Yuki against all man. Yuki taking Sanzo down. Was a double kill in Shinji with his shotgun again, deciding the round using the mute. So very good job again on this constant and like close quarter combats. Frequency finding themselves, excuse me, again to like put the scoreboard against Ghost Army. It was interesting to see how Frequency opened up with the 2-1. They were reversed, and now it's Frequency time again to show strength.
Yeah, I mean, Frequency, looking at those couple of rounds, that went very well, and now they're going to the round that might put them onto that match point. A very strong position to be in, especially coming out from that losing bracket. Now, I've mentioned this side before already, actually, and it looks like we're in for a bit of a treat. They are going to head down to bar stop, and I think I can understand a little bit the reason as to why. Obviously, as a team, they would have prepared this. They would have had kind of rough ideas of what they want to do, what the rough game plan is for everyone. But the more logical thinking that I see behind this is Frequency. If they win this round, that gives them match point. And they probably want to give themselves a little bit more leeway when it comes to the next couple of rounds, rather than focus on this one specifically. They've got that 2-round buffer and saying, okay, well, we'll try and win this one. Yeah. And if we win this, well, where does that put them? It puts them back on that bottom floor, which is typically the strongest side for a lot of teams. They want to make sure that if they get to that match point stage, they're in the best position to close things down. And if they don't, well, they just go there anyway. This next round will be on that bottom floor, in my opinion, or maybe at least back upstairs. But they're trying to give themselves such a strong start before they get there. It's going to be a big ask, because this site is one that a lot of teams would try to shy away from. The verticality doesn't really lend itself amazingly well to it. And right now, Bravo will be taking some of the information away from those attackers. We'll be taking away not one but two cameras. One of them being a yokai as well could probably stop that counter defuse from the yokai drone. And going upstairs, we'll get the main stairs camera as well. The intel denial coming out so beautifully at the moment, lane X. And as time ticks down, positioning over towards these windows, aware this vertical push is going to be something they need. They need control of the top floor, otherwise the defenders will just shoot down when they try and go for the plant. Util will open up, angles will be there as well, and Cash will be first thing to fall. As the Util goes through, the pressure applied from Clay to Jacuzzi will be forcing them to look both ways. And the one-line magnets take the ace charges. Utility waste, the peak comes out, and Hassie's able to find Klein. Now that top floor take has to take place. The Frostman's not caught on the blitz going in, looking for these kills. And in doing so, this means if they force them out, they can look down below.
Yeah, and Blitz now trying to tank this damage, trying to open the venues for them. Double kill on the side of Yasuki, totally depleting Frequency's squad. As you said, good moment for Frequency to try to create this buffer, this amount of rounds that they're gonna use as a comfort zone to try to deal with a potential complicated rob of a map against Ghost Army. We have a 3v3 now. Hassi defending pretty well, right? Rotating and attacking, and he's such a guy. He's such a nice player to play on both ways, like both like expecting the opponents on a certain pixel, but also attacking, also finding the spots in the paths themselves. So it's a very good spot and moment for Frequency to also wait a little bit for Ghost Army and see where they're gonna make mistakes.
Oh, a beautiful flank from Hassie, able to find Kinsey, looking to slow down this attack coming up from the attackers. Oh no, not the blitz, melee onto Yuki. Evens things out as Tom's able to find Hassie, and now time ticking down. This is why a lot of teams don't like this site. Look at that. Tom has got such great cover. That is hard cover from this pool position. The blitz is well going to make it so difficult, but the first kill comes out to the first player. Tom's taking off the board, but Blitz is going to be able to close things down, storming the way from the start of the round on that top floor all the way to the end. And Sisnu will keep themselves in the game and keep Frequency off that all-important match point. And now they're going to head back to that bottom floor. We're going to see that buffer, making that buffer didn't really work. They don't want to risk it now. They're heading downstairs, Lane.
Yes, and that's the kind of heroic play that you expect to see from a Blitz, right? You're always like, hoping for the kind of chance of showing that even a heavy low operator can be decisive as he was. And of course, pushing things into the sides of a Ghost Army to reopen the map. And as you were saying, like Frequency, we're confident, we're finding momentum, we're like converting momentum into rounds, but now things get a little bit spicier, I would say, as we see both sides moving into this next round. The round number 10 on action, on preparation and then action, of course, as we know. So it's going to be cool to see how both sides are going to, try to and adjust to different things, because Just was attacking. As I was saying before, like, Frequency could profit a lot from being patient, but then they decided to attack, they decided to move onwards, and they paid a price.
Well, I mean, I feel like the thing is, with a Blitz, being patient isn't as much of a benefit as you want. I think it definitely is so important being able to pick your battles, but with the Blitz kind of tries to just... The Blitz just kind of puts that to one side and says we're going to have to get... You're going to panic. I feel like keeping that Blitz alive was so important for Ghost Army, just to keep the momentum in the round, like you say. But yeah, let's stop talking about that last round. Let's focus on this one. We're on the bottom floor site. There are these roamers again on that top floor. And right now you can see the attackers are doing their due diligence. They're getting the lines of sight over towards Logi. They're getting the players there to do construction. And they're looking to cut them off. The Jackal's there to do this roam clear, make sure they get the information on the roamers. And then you've got a player in construction, a player over towards CCTV, and a player over towards Jacuzzi. So many cut-off positions are in place now that they can really start to hunt down these defenders. And in doing so, Frequency will have to fight their way out and fight their way back to site, unless they pull off something magical. Drones going through, the mute jammers are there, and Hassie feeling the ever-closing grip of Ghost Army. And around them as the drone comes through, they're going to realize they're going to have to pop out here, Lane X. They look towards construction, they spot the ace, but not enough to get that gun fight. Will look towards the garage side, and if they're lucky, they can drop down this oil pit. Lucas Klein doesn't even realize.
Good job by Ghost Army, sorry, prepping that information and trying to get those intels as we had seen before, man. But now, yeah, action is gonna take place, and you can feel also. I see a little bit more like eager to play, eager to decide, to be decisive and define the rounds. More agitated, roaming more. Is that gonna play to their side or against them? We see now Shinji moving, and of course pretty much close to the bomb and trying to check all the spots. Yuki doing almost the same, so Frequency playing pretty much together and avoiding those mistakes, avoiding pickoffs that could, you know, play against them from now on.
Yeah, they didn't reinforce dirt. I mean, Frequency on bottom floor, leaving dirt open. This might go horrible. I mean, they barricaded it off, yes, but now there's that extra angle to focus on towards the side. Get control of blue, get control of main. There is another angle that you can use to really put the pressure on the attacking side. And with dirt, I'd be looking towards that hatch. I'd be looking towards main stairs. Right now, Ghost Army, they do have that player advantage, but time is starting to tick down. 20 seconds on the clock, Slane, and this Slane is able to find another kill to pick off the defenders. Yuki will have to push forward. The down will go on to Yuki, and suddenly it's all Hasiba himself finding the player on the drop, has to find another. The Grim gives away the position, and they back into church. They have to reload as time ticks down, and the plank goes down.
Very good one by Sanzo and paying the price, but helping a lot the team, as we have seen as Hasi is now alone. He's gonna try against Yasuki. Good job by Ghost Army to equalize this one, making things more complicated and finding such a nice entrance here to surprise, I would say, Frequency and find this 5-5 split now, Greedy. So it's kind of another game. It has been definitely back and forth. And I don't know what else to say. These two teams are playing to their best, and it's pretty to see. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm quite confident saying it. I'm sure you'll agree with me on this one.
Yeah.
Neither team's playing bad. I mean, both teams are playing very well. It's just a case of who's got that little extra thing in each round that really edges them out over the other. And sometimes you'll see where a team will have a 7-1 victory, and it's exactly like that. But these two teams just are going toe-for-toe with each other. Heading down to the bottom floor site now, though. Ghost Army, really good room clear on that last round. Really good cutoff utilization. And they were aware of where they kind of needed to apply pressure. They read into that dirt being not reinforced, so they could make another angle for that execute, which they did. They dropped that hatch, they had that plant down, and they had that player in dirt. On the side of Frequency, this is where I'd start to get worried, because Ghost Army are giving you a really good game. The French squad taking you all the way to that round 11, and quite possibly going to force ourselves into OT at this point. But this is Frequency's map pick. They have decided they go into club, and they are a strong club team as well. So that makes you think about what's going to happen when we find ourselves on Kaf Dostoyevsky. Well, it kind of worries me, but for the time being, we'll just leave that now, as we'll see Ghost Army looking for this room clear again. I think it looks like Frequency have learned their lesson and are shun away from that top floor, taking a page out of Ghost Army's first couple of rounds and playing down below, just bunkering it and looking to take gunfights at that late stage in the round.
Oh yeah, man, it's gonna keep being very interesting to see both sides playing this way, because as I said before the map, even both sides being very even here when it comes to dropping the rounds inside of Clubhouse. So it's more of a balanced map in this matter. After that, we're gonna have surely more, leaning into defensive kind of maps, as we talk about Cafe in Oregon. So yeah, this is the peak of I would say like the balance that we have from side to side, and we are seeing both sides, as you said, also playing very, very well and not making a lot of mistakes. And there we go. We have Ram making a lot of noise, but just took Sanzo down for the side of now Frequency with one more man. That's a very interesting grenade to also bring things into more of a blasty base here, as we have also the image from Klein trying to come and find the bullets. It's going to be hard for a Ghost Army to operate with 2 down.
Yeah, as you say, seeing Tom taken off the board. Now, utility is being picked off at a beautiful rate. Those 2 barrage things are slowing down, those hatches being opened up. Plane's able to find a kill to Hasi as time ticks down with 1 minute on the clock. The blue control almost, but not firmly in control of the attack, as they're going to wait for this execute onto site. And this means that they're going to have to be very confident with the gunfights, because as soon as the pressure comes through onto site, that's when this blue person has to push out. Looking towards A, able to find a shot into the mirror. The player over in Moto is going to turn their head, and in doing so, that makes it so much more difficult. And it's going to be Frequency cleaning things up as the crossfires, as the positions are called, the heads turn, and the DMR turbo round. Such a massive impact in the round, slowing down the attack with the hatches, is going to close out that round in a beautiful fashion. Frequency, match points so far, but they've got to go back upstairs. And right now, the way that we've seen these teams play, it is still not over for Ghost Army.
Yes, and very good job on the bullet side of things for Frequency, placing the players, as you said, as in a crossfire layout, totally dominating and depleting Ghost Army, who are going to have to show if they're still able to get back to this one, having, of course, this down round, as we have just seen. So it's a cool game. I don't know how Frequency are going to play this one. If they're going to be more patient from now on to also eventually create spots where Ghost Army are going to be doing the mistakes, or where this is going to be rolling, if mostly on the upper floor to down, or already like coming from the bottom ones. So the game is gonna keep a very rich when it comes to options and different paths. We have seen a very like versatile kind of game, right? It has been surely the case of teams being very inventive so far.
Yeah, I mean, the way that teams have been playing has really shown the wealth, the depth of their map pool, realistically, and their strat book as well. I mean, they're coming at this with different approaches, realizing things are going wrong. Right, then we're just going to shift it up. We're going to use our other strat for this site. And that's what you want to be seeing at this late stage of the season, is not teams saying, we got to do this take. This is the only take we're able to do. We can't do another one. You've got to be able to perform in multiple different ways. Now, already the journey coming through is so important to the game of Rainbow Six Siege. The information you get is so useful, and that's what I like to see, is we're seeing these players realizing this is a key position. They might be looking down towards Kitchen because they might be aware Klein with the buck would want to take control of logistics if they're going for that garage side. Reaching charge over towards construction will open that window. It gives a little bit of awareness to the player inside, but Kinsey will spot the mute, will take them down, and Shinji's taken off suddenly. Just has to look towards that construction side. Now, though, the two angles are going to peek up that construction door, you can see, and Logi. The question is, do the attackers have that second angle? Yes, the window gets opened up, and again, the defenders are forced into difficult situations. Ghost Army just shutting down the freedom of movement the defenders have so beautifully enjoyed so far.
Oh yeah, Ghost Army now playing with patience. I love to see this kind of build up, you know, using the information, as you said, and slowly getting closer, not being so I would say eager to get in there, as they're gonna have to play almost without Klein. He's like down. It's gonna be
no.
Oh, look at this. One man less to use from now on, pretty.
Yeah, and not even that. Yeah, he will get revived, but look at that HP. He hadn't taken a gunfight, and he's now on 20 HP. He might as well have one less player in that fight at the moment. And right now, he will be having to take the gunfight against somebody with a little bit more HP. Not much, though. Kinsey, though, going to be the one to find these kills on site, taking down not one but two players.
Oh my God.
Gets a fourth as well. And now will be taken down by the Frost, but the damage is done. It's a 1v4 lane.
Wow, that was massive, wasn't it? With Sanzo dropping this one, quad kill, and definitely Kenzo being the guy. In the last round, he was also one of the openers to Ghost Army, excuse me. So it has been surely a fantastic evening for him, and I would say Ghost Army finding the path to reverse this one. Definitely not the kind of map drop that Frequency was expecting for. And I would say that, and they are a very good team when on coordinating those plans, but like against Ghost Army, things are looking sour for them over time. It seems to me, Creed, I don't know about yourself, but like to me, their window to close the map is slowly, not being at the grip anymore. Like they're losing control over things, and this attack side currently played by Ghost Army has been massive, has been very good.
Yeah, it's definitely been something they needed to bring in. I mean, Frequency on the attack did quite well to bring it back, and the defense has been good. But like you say, Ghost Army, I feel like when they need to get aggressive, when they need to get fast, that's when they're really starting to show themselves and really show what they can do. Going into the overtime, though, I feel like I'm going to make a call on this one, and I'm going to make a prediction, and you got to bear with me. If we see Ghost Army pick up this map in overtime, I reckon they can take the next map quite confidently. But if we do see this, if we do see Frequency taking this, I reckon we are going all the way. Now, speaking of the aggression that I was literally just mentioning, seeing that Twitch on the board, the Twitch, the Grim, the Ash, and the Maverick as well. These are all operators that can frag at a beautiful pace, and as well as a utility as well. The Twitch drone able to pick off these mirror windows, able to take away the Cade Claws, the Mute Jammers, and not the Malusis, but able to just put that pressure on as well, and then still win these gunfights. Going to be amazing. Now, we will see Shinji looking towards blue stairs, looking to take out that Brava drone, aware that it's coming, but didn't spot the player as well. Now the Twitch drone's got the mirror window, and it's such a much more unappealing position for the defenders to play. Now, the verticality will begin with 2 minutes on the clock. Ghost Army making their presence known and just putting that phantom pressure on the defenders, making them back out of blue, making them not want to get aggressive on these mirror windows, and most importantly, making them feel uncomfortable. Ghost Army very much in control of the pace so far as the verticality gets made. No attempt at C4s, no attempt at anyone trying to peek their head up from the defense. They're just waiting and biding their time. This Maverick will open that hatch. The impact trick will come out the kitchen, and time ticks down, Lanex.
Yes, and as you said, kind of a slow plan of attack on the side of Ghost Army with Brava and Twitch and all that build up, eventually paying off for them against the Frequency. But Frequency finding those kills just goes against Klein is successful. We see now some dominance on the stairs as well. So I don't know, things gonna be looking good for Ghost Army from now on, but I'm gonna bet as well. As I said, I think Ghost Army, finding this map eventually, they're gonna be very solid on the map number 2 as Sunzo takes bunks down. So it's a lot of damage lost on the side of Frequency, as Bunks is very offensive and aggressive, as we know. But Toms is down against the ground, and it's a 4v2. Grim, of course, playing his piece to protect, to deny some area to the opponent. And Sunzo and Yasuki trying to find this one, but Yuki was the man. And just like that, just again being the guy and making this one with Kaid. So there it is. Frequency finding the kills and slowly countering the slow pace by Ghost Army. So it has been such an interesting and I would say rich game.
Yeah, I mean, now though, what we're going to see is something we haven't seen in a while, Lanex, is we're going to see Ghost Army back on the defense. And without a shadow of a doubt in my mind, they're going to that bottom floor. Why? Because they won it so confidently both times that they went down to it. Realistically, for me here, this is where we'll really see what Frequency are made of. If they're able to switch it up, get on the attack and really perform, that's when we'll see some really strong performances come out. And going on to CAF, I feel a lot more confident. The thing is now, what we saw in that last game coming out from Ghost Army was a little bit sloppy on that one in just terms of timing and positioning. We saw defenders able to just lock in and just make the attackers uncomfortable pushing forward when it should have and was going the other way around at the start of the round. We saw a pick over towards blue. We saw players not really wanting to get that aggressive and when they previously had been in the lane. So I don't know what really changed up for Ghost Army. Going on the defense, they very much enjoy their bunkering style. They do like to just hold their position. Maybe Klein gets a little bit aggressive from time to time, and it's worked out in their favor before, and it's also got them lying cold dead at main stairs a couple of times as well. Question is, will Frequency be locked in enough to counter it? Now, there is a player over towards that blue side. This play, if Tom does stay there, can be causing so much havoc if it's not dealt with properly by Frequency. Will back off though, and you will see Klein on the main stairs being forced down as the drone comes through and the info gets there as well. And the attackers are doing very, very good with their own clear. But if you look towards that stock side, like Bankus has literally just done, aware that there's some holes over towards that stock side. Immediately as an attacker that screams out to you, there is somebody nearby, somebody has done that. And somebody is wanting you to walk into it. So suddenly it makes you not want to go there. You have to be a lot more careful. You have to consider every movement. Now Shinji will be looking down towards his verticality, looking to see what they can do. And again, we see the Ram being used again and again. But another C4 kill for the side of Ghost Army will just open things up and takes away the deadly R4C. That's only one left on that attacking side now, Lane.
I was going to say precisely that. Defending the spots and holding up, what's going to depend on the hands of Kanzi, Sanzo, and Yuzuki. For Ghost Army, since they have been the guys to kill regardless of the side they're defending. And yeah, they found the opener here. It's going to be hard for Frequency to keep moving without Shinji. He's such a good player again on the 1v1, so it's going to be complicated to fight in a real close spot without him. They're gonna have to try their best to drop this one up eventually against Ghost Army. You see now just again such a decisive force for them as well, killing on many different moments of the rounds just an essential player on their side, but going in the same lane, but now taken down by Yasuki, excuse me, and then just like that we're gonna see their side being weak and weaker over the seconds.
Yeah, very, very difficult situation to be in now because they only have one player towards third and then two players on the hack. The drop comes through, but the third player isn't ready to deal with it. The kill comes through for CJ as Kinsey gets a kill and gets taken down as well. And a 2 versus 2 with 40 seconds ticking down. The plank can start to go down, but as soon as it does, the info will go through. And suddenly the defenders will snap into action. The time to get down, it has to happen. The audio cue is given away. The player looks away at the worst second. Multi-Hassi unable to find a kill. Will get taken down by Sinzu, but then it's a refrag from Yuki. Look towards blue, looks to close it down. And it's going to be Ghost Army able to keep themselves in this game, Lane X. It was so tight, but both teams on their defensive side will win that bottom floor. And now as we go into the round 15, the maximum possible rounds that we can see, Lane X, the question is, are Ghost Army going to be able to close it down? Or will Frequency be able to get that leg up before we go into CAF?
Oh yeah, that's the maximum level of adrenaline that we were expecting, as both sides are totally reversing the expectations. And again, was one of those rounds where we see like the details playing a massive role. We saw a lot of preparation. We saw also the fightings coming out, a lot of very good players on both sides, and especially Yasuki and Sanzo on the hands of Ghost Army, but also we have Frequency players doing their best, just and Bonks finding the spot. So 7-7, that's crazy, man. I mean, no one wants to lose, and that's very clear so far. And that's just map number 1, Creedy.
Exactly. I mean, we still have the potential of 2 more maps to go. Definitely one, maybe a third after that. And like I said, these teams both playing in for elimination, and not just elimination, but a chance as well to go to that grand final. They have the chance to win it all. They're 1 game away. And if they're not able to win this one out today, they will not have that opportunity until the next season, which will feel like an absolute eternity for them. Right now, though, a lot of players definitely feeling the pressure so far, but they have to have that grace as well. We are seeing this gym bedroom site for the final time, and it will be in the side of Frequency who'll be defending it out. They've done well before. Ghost Army, though, have had some very, very good attacks with it. So I don't know. It could go either way. The question is, who's going to get this early aggression? Who's going to get that opening pick? Because for me, that's the winning condition. Get the opening pick, get control, and you really start to exploit it. We know both teams can do that. And right now, the pressure over towards CCTV Gym is going to start. And again, that tiered defense is what we're going to see coming out from Frequency. And it's going to be Hassi who's going to look at taking the first couple of gunfights. A very difficult position to pull back from. One player down below could ruin everything to try to get back to that site. We do see the aggressive attackers start to come through them. Lucy Banshee goes away and lanes. I'll leave it all down to you, mate.
Yeah, Sassi is moving closer, and everything down to the details, down to how you're gonna trade with your partners, how things are gonna flow when the bullets begin flying. So in such a tactical game, it is crazy to see this level of equalization, of build up on both sides. And as we know, things are gonna be very, very interesting to follow from now on, as we have already Bonks and just takes a Kanzi down, so not that kind of preemptive damage anymore on the side of Ghost Army that Kanzi is able to provide. Usually Yasuki takes just down 4v4. What a crazy rob of a map. We have Klein suddenly taking Yuki, not playing, expecting to find more. Bunks though takes Sanzo at this moment, so 3v3, crazy moment for both teams. as we see now, Bunks going down, and Izuki expecting it's gonna be the moment where they either attacked altogether or they're gonna eventually lose the pace of the battle.
Yeah, well, right now it's looking very strong for Ghost Army because while, yes, Bunkers will be able to find another kill, look at the positioning of where that player's overlord CCTV. Yasuki gets the kill. Now it's a 1 versus 2, and it is winnable for this shotgun SMG combination, but it's going to be so difficult. Aware that the players are going to be thinking about what they can do. There's time on the clock. There's 46 seconds. The drones are going through and on the C4 is prepped. He's not in the right spot. No one's going to go for that hatch. They're going to go in these windows. The player with that diffuser probably going in through gym window, and the player to cover going to go in through master bedroom. Holding this position, looking for Shinji, but it's going to be the cam that spots him. The player on that master bedroom window looks for the kill. The C4 goes out, doesn't find its mark. 20 seconds left, and everyone knows it's all to play for. The attackers have to make this push happen. The damage does go through, but Shinji just escapes. Pulls out the shotgun, doesn't land it, and Ghost Army will take map 1 lanes, and what a game to do it. So, like we said, it's been so close. Not until the final second we could actually turn around and say who we wanted to win or who we expected to win. What are your thoughts? I mean, I know you're still kind of coming into the CC, but what a game to watch, isn't it?
It was awesome, was fantastic. And again, on the details, based on the small, tiny, minor details that we could find in some occasions. For example, that last trade with Yasuki could go either ways, but he was the successful side on depleting the frequency players. So they found the way into this victory, which was looking in some ways like kind of an unexpected, right, Creedy? Because they were Ghost Army were ahead, they were like dominating the scoreboard on many occasions, but then again Frequency took it back and moved things forward into the overtime. But there it is. I want to see now if your prediction is gonna hold up into the map number 2, rolling F. He's gonna need to have to get back to this game.
Yeah, but I believe that on this one we are going to see Frequency going on the defensive side first. There is that kind of little bit of relief for them, but we are going to have a short break before we get there. I think Ghost Army need it. I think Frequency need it, and I sure as hell know that I do. So we are going to take a short break, and we will look at getting back to you as soon as possible. So maybe grab a drink, but make sure you don't go anywhere for long because we will be right back. Welcome back, and boy, am I excited. I'm McCready. Joining me today is Lane X, and we have just seen map 1 of the lower bracket final, and wow, oh my, Ghost Army able to take that victory in such a very tight fashion. I mean, Lane, what were your thoughts on map 1 before we start thinking of map 2 very quickly?
Again, it was a very back and forth map, as you said, very much based on details. So that showed the kind of power that both sides have to reverse situations and also apply pressure when needed. We have seen like the bullets level there, the damage is there, and the coordination is there. So especially by the usage of RAM, such a complicated operator to like coordinate with other operators. But like, let's see how that's going to play out on map 2. And I expect more of the same. And the same is a lot of energy, a lot of nice plays, and that's for the best.
Yeah, I mean, and that's something we always want to see. Going on to a map like Kaf Dostoevsky is a map that demands it. It doesn't ask for it, it demands it. And if you aren't there to provide, you will struggle as a team. This is a map that Ghost Army are very confident on. And when you take a look at it, just take a look at how everything is just so open. And in the best ways, it's open, but in the worst ways, it's also closed off in little areas. So looking at a map like Kaf Dostoevsky, I think I said to you in the break, these staircases are going to be key positions. We need to see a Nomad or a Gridlock or somebody, or just even Claymores going down on these staircases if the attackers get control. Otherwise, it's just going to cause absolute nightmares for an attacking side. On the side of Ghost Army, I'm not really expecting them to want to bring out that Monty. I'm expecting them to be aggressive. They're going to be confident and saying, right, we're going to try and take all these gunfights. We're going to put you on the back foot. Because if an attacking team can get really aggressive from the start, or a defensive team can get really aggressive from the start, they're going to stop any attackers from really wanting to get in the building. And that hesitation wastes so much time. Monty's going to get taken off the board again, not surprising. Dockerby will follow, though. That's a change from what we saw with the Ying being taken away, purely because at Dockerby we saw the impact. That audio cue on a roam clear is so important for an attacking lineup, and it's something that we've seen Ghost Army use very well. Going onto a map like KAF Dostoyevsky, getting that information doesn't just mean you have a rough idea of where these players are. You suddenly realize that you might be able to do verticality on them. You might be able to use utility on them rather than just running down and shooting them. Valkyrie going to get taken away, and that really doesn't surprise me. A lot of this map is soft-destructible, and pretty much anywhere where an attacker has to jump in can be C4'd, which is why we're seeing this Valkyrie taken off the board. That just takes away so much opportunity for C4s. Mirror going to follow as well. And really, again, not something that surprises me. That bottom floor and that top floor, a Mirror has a lot of power because it stops attackers, again, from feeling confident, like they can get aggressive, like they can try and take these gunfights. And as we head to the top floors where most teams will look to try and start out, I think we mentioned before, Frequency, they're going to start on that defensive side. And what they're going to want to do is get aggressive, make Ghost Army feel uncomfortable on their map. The question is, how is that going to happen? Right now, though, for the attacking side, they'll have to focus on the broken clear. They'll have to focus on getting control of this piano side. If they can get the piano side, they can get a foothold in and really start to make something happen. But at the moment, that's what the whole thing the defense is going to try and stop. There's going to be a player over towards Pixel. You can see the Goyo Shields, the Azami, the Warden. These are all operators that are going to waste so much time and make it so difficult to get in, especially that Azami. She's just going to keep shooting up barricades all the way in that stage piano side that they can play behind. It's forcing attackers to drone them out lanes. It's forcing them to make sure that they have cleared every square inch, and that takes time. And then you see the freezer position as well. That is a line of sight that Warden can play behind. They can't be flashed. They can't be smoked out. They can look into that piano side, or any defender can. And then it stops the attackers from another piece of being confident and being comfortable. They're going to have to fight for every single thing they can get. And as they start this round, the attackers are going to be looking to get on that top floor, get these hatches open, start droning in. Why? Purely because that's the first step. That's how you get anywhere on this site.
Yes, and again, like you said, very boxy defensive kind of map, which is going to force us to see some interesting spot defenses. And Warden, again, like a very expected operator here already brought by Bunks. And we see now some movement. Mirror not here again, as we see now a rotation by Kenzie with Brava trying to disable the opponent's gadgets. It's gonna be cool to see how both sides are gonna play, because eventually some breaching power using the grenades and all will be interesting too. But we already have eliminations. Bunks taking Sanzo off the table here, off the round, and of course Frequency operating and playing with one more man, finally having the chance of using Azami, sorry, to protect this bomb site. Essential for that kind of play. So Frequency already a little bit ahead, but yeah, not too late, of course, for Ghost Army to reverse this one.
Yeah, so with that Grim being taken off the board, that's a late round execute taken off the board, as Yasuki will find bonus as well. That Warden is there as well, gone. Now, they have control over towards the shop side. This is a very good start. They've put pressure over towards the default side, and while they haven't got aggressive just yet, they haven't tried to make this push really stick. They have applied that pressure. They've got that first step in the door. Ghost Army, this is very much needed. They are aware these players are towards a cocktail side. They're going to focus on using the long angles, and Yasuki's going to take away CJ off the board. Now, playing the pressure over towards that piano side. One plays over on white stairs, and plane gets taken down. And in doing so, now you see Hassie put into a very difficult position, as they'll get picked out in that bathroom. But a player still towards Pixel will make life very difficult. Yuki looking to be the real thorn in the side of the attackers. 30 seconds ticking down lane as the player of Shinji is forced out. That Goyo Cog looking to make something happen over towards this Shinko position. As the util goes through, Yuki ready to help.
Yeah, a little bit of a bang. Shinji is down. Yuki now to survive alone. Yasuki with the triple kill, and Kenzie being the one to finish this one off. And Ghost Army moving very smartly and putting Brava to play in the hands of Kenzie, already opening this one up.
Yeah, we saw how much utility was taken off straight away in that drone phase when they were looking for that execute by getting that main camera. And Honestly, I think it's very important to mention that for someone who might not realize how important that camera is. That's got a line of sight pretty much all the way through Cocktail, and it gives a rough idea of where these players are. You can see the drop down from Skylight, and you can see the new hatch. It's a huge camera to have as a defender, and if you can get it as an attacker, that's even more important. Look, most of what you can see on the screen right now, you can get the information from that main camera. So being able to take that as a Brava is huge for Ghost Army, and then being able to act upon that information as well. Very well coordinated and very well played. Coming back up here again, the main thing I want to see is a little bit more pressure towards the piano side. Maybe if we even see a Solace down below, maybe just looking to deal with the attackers once they get in. Because we saw Util being used to push the players of Pixel out and to deal with the freezer players. And then there wasn't really much contention over towards Pixel itself. It feels like Frequency just kind of dropped off a little bit. They played it back a tiny bit and let Ghost Army move around them. When we talked about this map at the start, we said you've got to be aggressive. You've got to be able to try and force the attackers into uncomfortable situations. I don't think that's exactly what Frequency did in that round, and that's where they started to suffer a bit. Right now, though, I feel like the main thing comes down to this first pick. As long as they don't lose that first player of Season 2, then they should be okay. And they've got a really good chance moving on forward into the round. But they've got to not lose that first gunfight, which is a big, big thing. So the Flores going through now will look at deal with this Util, especially this Goyo Shield, because that is the default position. They get rid of that Goyo Shield. That flame is not there for the late round. And the Util, like these cameras, is also stolen for the Brava. Again, such a big steal as the Twitch Drone is able to take down the Goyo Shield. Even only one left on the field.
Again, a very pretty much, I would say, standard kind of attack by Ghost Army, pretty being slow on the build-ups and also disabling the gadgets. It's a team that likes to set it up and create some drama. And Tom takes just down. Let's see how Frequency are going to survive on this one. Frequency, the team that we have to remember that loved back in this season of the competition to make the attack inside lose time. They're not being able to hold up against Ghost Army, as we have just seen also Justin Yuki down, and it's already looking sad for them. Let's see how Hassin's gonna play this one. Banged out, tries to go for the cover. As I said, very, very good job so far by Ghost Army, dominating the map, just like they did in the first map. Also moving into a second potential round over here as Tom takes Hassi down, and it's gonna be just Shinji and Bonks to try to be alive until the end. They're ready. You know, have a glance. They have a chance to look at the C4. I don't know if they're going to be able to get close to it, as Bucks is going to be the last man standing up against 4. Not anymore, because Sanzo was attacking him, was flanking very well, and finding this kill, he's able to help Ghost Army to move ahead.
I mean, that round wasn't even down to gunfights on that one. It's I think, like you say, it's details. It's a game of little things having such a massive ripple effect in the end game of the round, and it's stuff like there is a Twitch drone available in that main area, in that main drop-down area, spotting that Frost moving forward through Freezer. As soon as that happens, when Frost is trying to get aggressive over towards Pixel, there's somebody already pre-firing them. That gunfight's already lost before they stick their head around the corner. And again, with the mute, there's information constantly coming from Ghost Army that I don't think we found in the first couple of their attacking rounds on Clubhouse. I feel like this is where they're really hitting their stride. They've really woken up. And if you've seen anything of Ghost Army before, that is where they really excel. When they've had a couple of rounds to wake up and they're feeling confident, they're only going to go from strength to strength. From the side of Frequency, this is what I want to see. That was a very, very dominant round for Ghost Army. The first one was a bit closer, so I can say, yeah, try it again, why not? That round, no, they need to go downstairs. They need to try something else. And it comes down to roamers for me. Are we going to see any roamers? Yeah, well, we've got a Vigil on the board of CJ. And we've seen the impact CJ could have in that last game with some incredible plays coming through to close out a round. We need to see what impact that's going to have this time, though. If they are able to get that early pick, if they are able to shut down the attackers, that's when we'll see Ghost Army start to struggle. Problem is, though, Ghost Army, they're not going to go down without a fight, and that last round certainly proved it, didn't it, Lane?
Yes, I would say Ghost Army on that matter. They have, you know, not a lot of reasons to change or adjust whatever. It's already working out for them.
Yeah.
As you said, the necessity for improvements here come for the side of Frequency, who have been alternating between Wamai and Warden. all that is not working well so far. So let's see how they're gonna, if they're ever gonna change anything on, on these entry points, like you mentioned, trying to abuse more of the spaces of the map and going also on the bottom floor. We see now a lot of the preparation rolling on. This is already Tom trying to dominate the stairs, and we see CJ in a very patient pace. Yuki, nice pick against Kenzie, taking him down, but there it is. Isuki also giving back the damage and finding Hasi for a 4v4. Ladies and gentlemen, yeah, very interesting game. And map 2 being a little bit different from the map number 1. CJ attacking 2, Tom gets into the fight battle, and this is gonna be a very interesting 3v3 as Yuki moves up against Klein and puts Ghost Army in a complicated situation.
Yeah, right now they are split apart. They have to look towards this site and they have to try and make an entrance towards it. But Shinji, able to find Yasuki, will take down that ace. Aware that there's other players on that top floor. And dropping down that red stairs, this is why red stairs is so important. Bunks is able to back up, play it safe, wait for the drop, and get the kill. And it's something we saw before. These red stairs, these white stairs, they're so essential in how these rounds play out because it means these defenders are stuck in difficult situations and they realize they've either got to pop off or die. And if they die, then that might ruin the whole thing for their team. Very well played on the roam. I feel like Ghost Army, they had good spots. They had a player towards red. They had a player towards white. And they just kind of gave it away. They got a little bit too aggressive in some of these cases. Or maybe they weren't holding some of these angles enough, like in the case of CJ on that top floor. When we did see this execute come through, that's when Frequency were able to step up. I mean, that was a round that I was very pleased to see from them. That was something that they really dominated. They took that control. And while Ghost Army found picks, they weren't essential. I mean, well, I say they weren't essential. They weren't as impactful as they needed to be. They weren't shutting down Frequency in any meaningful way. It was saying, right, well, we've just killed CJ after he spent about 5 minutes killing the rest of our team. You know, that's a trade that Frequency will take. So going down to this middle floor, this is one lanes that I feel is it's quite good. I quite like it because it's a top floor defense until that last 30 seconds on that one. You hold it the exact same way on the top floor. You maybe have one player down below and you just adjust the reinforcement positioning. But it is that top floor. That's where you're going to look. And right now, Ghost Army are going to have to attack it as such. Aware a player on that row might be looking for a bit of a quick execute onto site. We'll be heading to that top floor instead, though.
And Shinji, well informed now about the movements coming from Ghost Army, as we have seen. Nice droning by them to get that information. Clients rolling out of the building itself. As we have also CJ trying to catch that intel. And stare on the hands of Yuki, who's gonna be playing patient here to wait a little bit. And Frequency, yes, finding some success. Responding with one round so far. 2-1 as we are into this map number 2, Cafe. Very interestingly played by both sides so far. Kenzie also playing it slow. And at this moment, Greedy, a level of help, I would say, a collective kind of fighting coming from Frequency as we see the assistances being, I don't know, a little bit in an upper level compared to the Ghost Army's numbers. So Ghost Army, going more for eventually like individual choices and risks and fights. But there it is, Tom playing very well this time, like finding the kills and ramping it up, stepping up into this 5-1 now with a double kill to almost decide the round. Just was taken down, Jay to the ground, and the last man is gonna be boxed against 4 opponents to try his luck. But there it is, 2 bullets at the same time is always complicated. He'll do absolutely nothing in these last seconds.
Yeah, very, very good utility coming out from Ghost Army. I mean, looking towards that cocktail side, as soon as we saw that castle barricade getting breached, well, mine was just playing on the hatch, ready to drop, but they wanted to take the gunfight. They were focusing on Freezer, expecting Ghost Army to push it. Well, Ghost Army looked at that wall on that top floor, got that breach open, and the flashbangs came through. As soon as the flashbang goes through, 2 players are looking to take that aggressive gunfight, and at least one of them is definitely going to win, especially with that defender flashed. As soon as that happens, you see the player actually going up those white stairs. You see the players over towards the pillar area, ready to try and contest any defenders trying to just get a cheeky C4 off or something. That was well executed from themselves because they realized that if they go from the top and they go from below and they start to squeeze and apply the pressure, then eventually they are just going to hit the other side. They are going to get right the way through Frequency. honestly, as soon as that double kill came through, that was the round. We saw the one player, yes, over towards red stairs, or white stairs, so we saw the one player over towards that train side, but realistically, they're so far apart, and the site was being executed on so hard by the attackers, they wouldn't have had any time to have any impact. So what we saw was, as soon as the players over towards Reading got that kill, they rotated pillars, they just got aggressive, and even if they lose some gunfights, the plant's still going down, the player advantages are still there. So right now, Ghost Army, they will have to attack that middle floor site again, and they're going to do so quite confidently. Yes, they did lose that early player very early on, but they dealt with it very, very well. Moving into this next round, the defenders maybe going to want to have a bit more focus on this top floor, maybe having somebody ready to deal with a roamer coming from down below. But at the moment, it doesn't look like that is the case. CJ, the furthest thing from that site at the moment, aware that they might be able to get something with this verticality if a player doesn't beat the window. As the drones will go through lanes, heading into the waiting arms of Shinji, who's now aware that the push comes through. The Ash barricade starts to take place, and the alternative angle for the Ash to attack from will be made. It's going to be a tough fight, and that is for certain.
Oh yeah, no one down so far, so quite a dramatic long round to this point. Shinji waiting, expecting, and yes, frequency needing to bring this one, or they're gonna get complicated against Ghost Army. As we see Kenzie also playing patiently. Yasuki taking Shinji down, Tom always killing, and Tom has been the offensive cog machine here for them. Such a great job by this player, specifically also on map 2, and now things looking complicated again for frequency. And even with the changes of operators, they are not being able to respond properly against Ghost Army. So it's been such a complicated game by them. But just like I said, that Hasi takes Kenzie down, and it's gonna be 3v3. But Yasuki responds as well with quality. We have the camera of Sanzo. Such a consistent player as well. Hasi and CJ are gonna be the last one to try to keep frequency alive on this one, and Hasi is gonna have to speed up. Finding now Sanzo, nice movement for the triple kill on the hands of Yasuki. CJ is gonna be the last one to try to go slow, killing this drone to try to not be C, but Klein was the last man to claim this victory on this round. So Ghost Army looking so much solid, right? Pretty, especially compared to the beginning that they offered on map number 1. So already converting a lot of these rounds and playing in a very, very intelligent way on the offensive side.
Yeah, I mean, this first half has flown by with the attacking side of Ghost Army. I mean, 4-1 already, that's a really good attacking side on a more defensive-sided map. And then they're going to go onto the defense. So it's really looking in favor of Ghost Army on this one. Frequency starting to flail a little bit. Like you say, you're looking over on the side of Frequency. And right now, they're struggling to get any kills on the board. 2 or 3 kills per person. But you look over towards Ghost Army. You got Tom on 6 kills. Yasuki on 8. There's 2 players really starting to wake up on that one. And these top couple of floors, anything that hasn't been this bottom floor has really been where Ghost Army have shined. They've taken very fast control of Cocktail, White Pit, so the key positions they need. And Frequency haven't really had that much of an answer in that regard. I mean, as soon as they take these positions, we're seeing Frequency trying to fight back to try and keep themselves even. I mean, they're looking up on that middle floor when players are pushing down white stairs and about to catch them unawares. This is where Ghost Army are really dictating the pace, and as a defensive side, that cannot be allowed to happen for Frequency. They need this last round to go their favor. Otherwise, we go on to the defense. I see Ghost Army keeping the momentum, keeping this confidence and aggression, and just shutting it down. I mean, a 5-1 split on the attack, that's pretty much the writing on the wall for the side of Frequency. They want to go fight Entropy. They don't want to lose this lower bracket run at this point, at this late stage. But it looks not amazing for them. They're going to have to pull something out of their backside. Ghost Army, very slow with the droning. The utility being used, and they're like, you nearly able to catch that Echo drone. But this hatch is open. If Ghost Army have a very strong roam and are able to clear out these key positions, unlike what we saw last time they went to this site, where Frequency were really strong, they can get a very strong entry onto site very quickly and very, very controlling, like we might have seen in that last round before when they went onto the bottom floor. But right now in Bakery, things are going to be kicking off. They don't care about Clubhouse, they care about Cap. Jackal's going to get some information on the roamers, looks towards those brown stairs, and, well, isn't going to take the gunfight, will force Vigil away. As that takes place, Sinzo will find Yuki and force some of these roamers back on towards site. C4 from Hassi will find Tom and even things out though, Lane.
Yeah, and Hassi once more being the guy to revenge the kills, always close to the best moments and to the plays themselves. Already, giving back the damage and in a way re-equalizing the numbers here for this round number 6 and the game finding eventually a new chapter. Eventually, we're gonna be able to see things, flowing in a slower pace eventually, because again, I would say Ghost Army need one more round to really build that buffer zone that you mentioned in the first map. I like that expression. I love that one. I'm going to be using that one from now on. So it's kind of a margin that you ideally want against a strong side to find yourself, maybe changing things around. But in this round specifically, Frequency managing to do things and to find the spots and find the kills. And they're going to try to squeeze Claim to the death, and of course move up to the second round. We have Claim moving around, trying to find some spots, and of course trying not to lose time. But ideally, Frequency, they're gonna just stick together and just try to surprise Claim at any moment.
Yeah, Clayton's going to focus towards Freezer. They might drop. They're just kind of having to think about what's going on. Realistically, this round's pretty much as good as over. The drop comes through, the players come through, the swing is there, and Shinji will get taken down, but 3 players behind them.
There it is.
It's just going to get closed down. It's not really going to happen. So, I think, though, as we do see Frequency, they are able to pick up that second round on the defense, but that's only bottom floor. They haven't really shown that much strength when it comes to that top floor or that middle floor. They've very much been on the back foot and let Ghost Army run over them, which worries me, because like we said, this is the lower bracket final. If they win this, then they'll face Entropy in the grand final. And if Entropy are watching this and they say, well, they've said it on Twitter, they are waiting. They are watching and waiting. So they're probably going to be watching this and they're going to be taking notes, aware that on the defensive side, the only site you have to really worry about if you're going up against Frequency so far has been that bottom floor, and that's something that a good team on Kaftos Tedevsky will be able to do. Ghost Army going onto the defense will look to play aggressive. They will probably have a player in this piano area, maybe even go for a spawn peek or two, purely because they're going to want to shut down this attack so far. Like I said, 1 kill can really stop any momentum because an aggressive defensive side can swing any position they want to. They can play that piano. They can have somebody pick them as well to cover the piano player. And then when they have somebody in that cocktail area, that player will watch a push from that side. We saw it happen in the first round when we saw Frequency actually able to pick up a kill from that. And the use of the Ying and the Sense and the Capital as well, it is screaming out at me. A small peak will come through, but I am 100% seeing an aggressive lineup coming through from the side of Frequency. They're going to use these Candelas in the main skylight. They're going to use the Sense Vitero drones, the RCEs, to get these lines of sight blocked off, stop the offenders from seeing where they want to go. There's no warden on the board, so this could be very impactful. The Capital is going to be used for that area denial, and as they all position up, they need to be aware that the defenders of Ghost Army are ready for them. They spot that run out, still left open from when the attackers, from when they tried to get that spawn peak earlier. The frostmats are called out, which means it's even more difficult lanes. If they jump at that skylight, they've got to look down, which exposes them to these gunfights. Candelas go through. Yasuki will fall with Shinji as a util all follows, and he doesn't hit the frostmat, though the plant will start to go down in a minute.
Drop the bomb diffuser.
Oh man, that was such a way to take him down, as we see now. Kenzie also delivering the bullets. CJ is gonna be the alive man, trying to deal with 3 opponents. Moving ahead. There it is. Patience on his side. Almost there. Totally exposed. Oh, he was almost reloading, but he was surprised by Sanzo. Not expecting that one from the back position. And just like that, Ghost Army again, moving on points, finding another round. So very, very cool to see how they totally and fastly annihilated and countered Capitan very fastly right after the breach. Capitan, was not able to do what we're expecting from a Capitan, right?
Yeah, I mean, the smoke sets up the lines of sight that goes alongside those sense barricades and stops the defenders from seeing things. However, One Magnus will catch them, and they won't catch those RCE drones. Now, here's the big thing, like you say, they could have smoked things off, they could have flamed things off and stopped the defenders from getting in those key positions where they won the round. That didn't happen. They got picked off, and Frequency decided to continue anyway. They jumped in, they were picked off because the amount of noise, the amount of utility that was going through, the defenders knew that drop was coming through Skylight. They went under no illusions of what was going to happen on that one. So the player over towards Piano can use that head hole and start looking towards it and very comfortably avoid any Candelas, any flashbangs that go through. A very difficult situation to find yourself in, especially as the attack is jumping in, losing that player very quickly. I know I said the plant was going to go down, but they didn't even have the chance. Going on to this bottom floor site, they were really good on the defense. The question is, can they do it on the attack? They've got the operators they need for it. They've got the Jackal, they've got the Puck. But you've got to see how that's spread out on the defensive lineup of Ghost Army. They have players on the top floor. They are ready. They know the vertical play is going to be a key part of this round. And my God, they are spoiling for a fight.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man, it's gonna be massive. We're gonna see now. Oh, all right, Tom going out of the building and already taking Bucks down. That totally paid off. McLean was eliminated as well. So both teams now being demanded to be patient and play this one in a more cautious way. But Hassi takes Storm off the table, and Ghost Army looking so solid, right? Credit to drop this one. I don't know if there's a lot of space anymore for Frequency. You know, they're trying to find momentum as we're seeing this kind of crossfire between Sanzo and Hassi, and it went to the Sanzo side.
I will give Frequency a lot of credit. They have got that key position. They have got that verticality in favor, and now they're opening up that freezer side. So they can look all the way towards that freezer side, but what they really need is CJ looking at this area, watching the cross, being aware of the player in kitchen, getting that kill, and then rotating over towards the double. They can spot any player trying to head over the freezer and then pick them off. Now, information is there. If someone tries to push that double, they will spot it, but it's all down to Yasuki and Siznu. Time ticks down. The verticality is there. The Jackal scans come through. The position of Siznu is given away, and Yuki starts to move forward, aware that this player is over towards double. The shots come through. Doesn't find it smart. The drop is there as well. A minute ticking down. CJ gets taken away. It's all down to the Warden to shut things down. But they've got away from that verticality. They're currently in a position where they can look to contest. They can look at stopping this plan. But as it goes down and the push comes through, the Warden will run in. There's going to be Shinji shutting things down again as they move on the defense. A very strong round on that bottom floor run attack.
Classical Shinji here. Regardless of the weapon he's using, he's a very strong defender, and that totally paid off for Frequency as we see a 5-3 split now, potentially to reopen the conversation and discussions here. Just when Ghost Army they were looking so close to the end and like so solid, but again, like totally reversed on that one, and Frequency finding the patience, finding, as you said, Jackal, finding this nice operator to bring quality and surprise a little bit of Ghost Army side.
Yeah, I mean, I look at that, and I think in this round, that Jackal has come through massively. You've seen how much sight.
Oh yeah.
The way the Jackal works, obviously, is seeing these footsteps. You're looking at the ground, and you can see if someone's been there. And in doing so, that really gives a lot of opportunity, especially with two staircases, to rule out any roamers. You go on that middle floor, and if you look and you see any footsteps going upstairs, well, okay, you can kind of clock that someone's been there. You're going to have to worry about that, and you need to roam through it. Same with red stairs. However, on that one, they were played it to perfection. They forced Warden out of that position by Freezer, so they had to go over towards that double. They had to just try and get away from the attackers. That was very well played. The roam clear was dealt with very well as well. I mean, they lost that opening gunfight, but they actually answered to it in quite a strong way. Ghost Army will have to deal with this again, though, and they're looking towards the garage side. Yes, that garage door will be open, but they've got to open it up with the Thieves Statement charges. If they don't, that forces them to go through that garage door, and then forces them into a very defender-sided angle, especially with the utility deployed over towards that VIP side, the shields, the angles, the lines of sight from the defender, and most importantly, Ghost Army, we know, able to frag out in a massive way. So they're going to open up that wall, uses up that utility, that hard breach gadget of the Thermite, and as we see these track stingers go down on the attacking side of red stairs, they're getting aggressive. They want to take these gunfights, But they need to remember Frequency just won that last round. 2 minutes ticking down, and like you say, we can see Shinji moving around, spotting that nobody's been up to roam with. There's nobody we need to scan. We are safe. 2 minutes on the clock. The verticality's there. But with this setup, that screams that there's players in VIP, and that is something that Frequency are going to have to deal with. As soon as they start to put pressure on White Stairs, that will make them pop off, or whoever's playing towards Whiskey. And that's what we're seeing now as a Jackal pushes forward. The verticality starts to come through. 10 players alive, so an even more tense situation than it was at this point in that last round, as the drones do start to come through, Lonex.
Yes, and from the side of Ghost Army, excuse me, very standard defensive layout with operators. Interesting, Zami, Wamai as kills are rolling, but also with Kaede. So yes, they got a multi-layered defensive layout, I would say this way. But on the other side, like on the other hand, Frequency also knowing what to do and also knowing how to play and find these kills. See how things gonna flow to their side. Klein is taken down, 3v3. We have Shinji also rotating and loving Jackal. Again, loving to find, to track the opponents. Also playing in the vertical way now. It's gonna be a very interesting drop of a round, and this very round is gonna tell us how things are gonna go from now on. Who's gonna be taking the lead? Who's gonna be, looking to respond quickly? Shinji taking Yasuki to the ground. Things looking complicated for Ghost Army, right?
Yeah, again, right now, the Ghost Army, the two remaining players are currently not on that site, and they do have lines of sight from Red and Double, but the attackers can pressure through, they can push on, and you can see Kinsey now over in this code check area, not ready for the push from Shinji. Just a bit of damage, but not enough, and nearly not enough. Or Tom has rotated around, we'll be looking to help, the plant has gone through, the verticality is there to stop these defenders pushing through, and it's not going to land as Tom finds one kill, Tom finds a second, the plant gets stopped, and that's going to be Ghost Army keeping the round by the last second, able to keep that round in their favor, finally winning that bottom floor, but my god, I do not want to see that bottom site again.
And Tom, are you kidding me? This guy is being a massive player in the second map, also being so smart to connect from one pick to a repick. So finding the kills and suddenly I would say Ghost Army showing what they came here for and showing why they were in the upper brackets as opposed to Frequency, who struggled a lot, as we said, going over the brackets structure to reach this final match. So yes, things looking very good for Ghost Army here. Let's see if Frequency still have anything left in their pockets to show off.
I mean, here's the thing, look at this top floor. What we saw the first time wasn't really any kind of semblance of a strat. It was in the sense of it was aggressive, it was trying to take control, but it wasn't anything as in, this is how we're going to try and take this site. And this is probably the best time for it, because Frequency, they are on elimination point. If they do not perform a really strong round here, then this is where they are going to struggle. This is where they're going to get kicked out, and we will see Ghost Army looking for that rematch with Entropy. That was unfortunately forfeited. Now, here's what's going to happen. They have a different lineup, which means they are going to try something else. And what they try hasn't been seen by Ghost Army before. They are going into this blind. You see right now they are aware that there might be a run out over towards that reading side, that Christmas tree area, but that's not going to happen this time. It didn't work out for Ghost Army. They don't want to try it again. The Bravo Green brought out the IQ, all scream out that they want to get rid of utility before the execute. So they're going to try and make as much use of this time that they've got. And as well with the Ram, they might have a player down below, or the Bravo, sorry. They're going to try and take away the information. Again, taking control of this main lobby cam. And again, they have Sophia down below. They can use that camera to get the information and hopefully flush out Seasonu. Time ticking down. And right now, Ghost Army, they're aware that this is going to be the most important round for them because they do not want to head back down below. Klein able to find Yuki, will start things off in favor of the defensive lineup. 2 players down below will be forcing Seasonu out of that position, but they have got a shotgun, they have got a C4, they will put it through, but it won't find its mark. And it's going to be Yasuki taken down on the white stairs with 1 minute 46 left on the clock. Player ready to get aggressive on the stairs if the attackers do commit to it. But right now, it looks like Frequency is starting to even things out, Lanix.
Oh, man. Yeah, Bunks is stepping up, turning into a monster. 4v2 now. And Tom and Climb to be the last man alive. As we see now, Tom delivering the bullets as well. He was brave, he was tough, but not enough against CJ, who totally took him down. Klein's gonna find his spot in his bullets against Hassi. Good job. He's still got, you know, he's got to fight against Shinji and CJ, which is gonna be interesting. And yeah, Sophia coming to the game, interestingly, from Frequency and being well played. CJ now with Brava as well, so they finally spotted him. So it's gonna be hard for Clem to keep covered and hidden from this one. Almost pre-fired, I would say, but still alive, still expecting, waiting for a chance to find this bullet and this crossfire properly. There it is, the fuse is planted, so he's gonna have to also fight against the clock. Klein rotating, we see he's trying to go faster. It's gonna be so tough for him. Opening the spot, trying to find this line of vision, and yes, taken down. Not possible because CJ was already there, ready for the fight. And Frequency they find a way, they find this round.
Yeah, that is heartbreaking for the side of Ghost Army on that top floor. They're doing so well at the start, but Frequency, you've got to give it to them. They took control. They spot these players playing by themselves and were able to pick them off apart. Tom, all alone on site, like you see on the screen, picked off. Felt alone, like they had to try and make something happen. So, yeah, they were able to find a kill towards the guy's shop, but immediately they're peeking default. And that's when the Skylight player, patiently waiting. Something you mentioned so much on Clubhouse, of patience and knowing where you need to be looking at what time. That's when that really came into play. He took out that my left it all down to Kane. And suddenly at that point, with the site control in favor of the attackers, and with the time also in favor of them as well, and player advantage, realistically, that was a losing battle from the very start. I mean, the plant was going down, and immediately the play was outside on that window. So then as soon as that happened, yeah, Ace could take the gunfight. They could even lose that gunfight. But the amount of time that it would waste, the amount of positioning that would have to be, fought over, just for the player to get on the diffuser and then have me shot from a window, that round was over. Frequency played it so beautifully, and they're showing why they've been staying alive in this lower bracket. But the problem is, their luck can only last for so long. They need to be able to perform on a consistent level, which I think we've been seeing, but we just need to make sure that that's happening every round. A perfect game of Rainbow Six Siege is required here, Lane X, and nothing less will be accepted. Now, again, going back to this top floor, you can see the site is being pressured a little bit by the attackers, but it's going to be this bottom floor site that has the first bit of pressure. Klein looking for the kill to take out the drone again, looking for something just to catch them off guard. Nothing's going to happen just yet. The attackers head to that top floor. They start their droning. They do their due diligence and position themselves for what might be another really strong attacking round.
Surely. And when we talk about Frequency, we have to remember that, for example, against Phoenix, they have displayed a lot of nice attacking efforts in maps, just like Café. For example, like Oregon. They were very, very consistent, especially in the last halves of it, finding their timings and their momentums, I would say. So that's precisely what is happening here today, this time against Ghost Army. So yes, Frequency showing their resistance, their resilience during the championship, and that can totally, I don't know, affect the mental condition from Ghost Army, as we see that they're feeling it. They're sensing that the opponent is growing to the occasion. We have another tough round here with this 4v4, as we show Kenzie trying to be patient, and it's gonna be again in the details. This game has been one of the toughest, I would say, of the whole season here in ESA Cup, to be fair, because I have never seen these guys playing so well, and surely Frequency growing and growing and finding spots and finding better decisions over time.
Yeah, it's just been tit for tat and tit for tat every single time. And you look at this, look towards that cocktail, unable to find the kill, but the push will come through from Bunkers on default position. Those Grims will start to move through, and you see Hassi down below has forced Tom out of that position they wanted to be in. Says no, we'll find Yuki though, and we'll find that Sophia and take them off the board. Kinsey finding a kill off their own. The Wamai is able to find another one of Tom, and it's all down to Hassi. The team of Frequency seemingly given up as the Ash is down below, and right now Frequency, they might have a chance to win it out, but it's going to be all down to Tom. He's taken down. Hassi will find them, and Ghost Army, climbing out of the graves of the lower bracket, will go on and face Entropy in that grand final. And Lanes, what a beautiful game to watch. Both teams so well played.
So well played and so consistent over the maps. And especially in the second map, yes, I agree that Sunzo was the man on the side of Ghost Army. They began so well, right, Creedy? Applying a 5-1 split against
Yeah.
Frequency, who eventually found their way. I would say Frequency found some attacking rounds and trying to reverse the situation, but apparently it was too late because confidence was on a Ghost Army's side. So as you said, they slightly stepped real quickly into the lower bracket, but there it is. They're back again to the top now to fight against Entropy Gaming on the grand finals, which is going to be such a great match. I'm totally eager to watch this one to see what is going to happen because they tried to delay the match, but the match is going to happen anyways.
Yeah, so when we take a look at this, this is the grand final of ESA Season 8. Long have we waited, and long have these teams looked to get to that situation. Now, Entropy Gaming going up against Ghost Army, the game that we were going to have before, but one that we were sadly robbed of. We are going to get it in this case, and it's going to be even more exciting. Do not miss it, because the 7th of July, 2 p.m. CST, next Sunday, is where we see the culmination of this whole season. Shout out to Frequency Gaming. They will take that third place spot, and they will get that consolidation prize of 250 euros. But next weekend, that is when we really see the two titans of this season battling it out. Lanex, it has been such a pleasure casting this with yourself. Two incredible teams really going back and forth until the very last second. And I think that rings true for Kaf Dostoevsky as well. I can't wait for this next play day, but we are going to have to, aren't we?
We're gonna have to wait, anxiously, I would say patiently.
Yeah.
And as you just said, Cafe was looking like an overtime map. It didn't go to overtime properly, just like Clubhouse did today, but it was precisely looking as interesting as a potential overtime map. But there it is. Anyways, Ghost Army, they stepped up and they won, so it's gonna be great to see them trying to beat the multi-champions Entropy when it comes to ESA Cup.
Yeah, and you want to make sure that you don't miss it. If in case you didn't spot it on that one, it is the 7th of July next Sunday. So make sure you do not miss it, because that is going to be all from us for the time being in this playoff stage. Only the grand final and 2 teams remain. And make sure that you are involved in the Discord, on Twitter, on everything if you can, with the social medias. So make sure you don't miss a second of the action. I've been McCready. Joining me today is Lanex. A huge shout out to Bozmax on the observation, and Opnex. I believe that's how I say it. I always get confused every time. But thank you for the production, making this stream look so amazing like it does right before you right now. We are going to be shooting off, so most importantly, enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you in a week's time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.